NewGenGamers.com.
It faltered very quickly.
So 3DO eventually completely went out of business in 2001. Trip Hawkins walked away with his head down, but being the creative, innovative entrepreneur that he was, he didn't give up. He started a new company called Digital Chocolate and started talking the same crazy, wacky shit that he was talking in the early 90s.
He didn't learn his lesson?
No. He knows what he's talking about. That's the thing. The guy sees what's out there.
He's just 5 years ahead of the time.
He's ahead of the time. He had one of the first third-party video game developers because he saw that that was going to be huge while working at Apple. While working at EA, he realized the rise in multimedia home video game systems. He made it ahead of the curve. So he made the company Digital Chocolate, which is a cell phone game developer. So you better believe in the next 5 to 10 years,
there's going to be some awesome cell phone games.
Cell phone gaming is going to take off. And he started the company trying to get quality titles out for cell phones, and they've had some okay stuff, but again, nothing.
That's a decent endeavor, though. We need to get more decent stuff out there.
Yeah, there really is a lack. Snoop Dogg Bowling just is not cutting it.
No, not honestly.
Yeah,
not that it's not a good game, I mean.
It does have its points.
And horrible translations of popular games don't work either. I mean, there's a Guitar Hero on mobile phones.
Yeah, I've played some mobile versions, and they're just not real good. So, guys like Trip Hawkins and the guy from id are really pushing the cell phone stuff, so hopefully we'll see good titles come of that.
I really like this.
This is an interesting title. I don't know if we're going through the veins of a person's
Yeah, you've been
body,
inserted into a human. Kind of like, you ever seen that movie Inner Space?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, only you're in like a ship that fires weapons.
What a weird title.
I actually read the intro and the manual for this. What's happening is you were a CEO of a mega corporation competing with another mega corporation. The corporations run everything and are ranked by how big they are, kind of like our Fortune 500, but that means everything if you're at the top of that. So the CEO of the number 2 company wants to kill the CEO of the number 1 company, so they've mastered miniaturization technology, and he's going in to the brain to murder the CEO.
That would be the only reason you would want to master.
What else?
That's an interesting plot.
What else do you do with miniaturization? Yeah. And it was all because the scientist that worked at the number 1 corporation was pissed, and so he sold the technology to the number 2 corporation. A lot of deceit, but you don't get into any of that in the actual game.
All you get into is destroying the other guy's immune system.
Basically.
And
we're at a boss fight.
I like the fact that his immune system has... Is this his, like, fake heart? What is this? Is this a valve?
I think this might be the heart. You work your way through his system and end up in the brain, and the final battle's in the brain.
Different
title. So you see, it's a shooter that's basically on rails, but it's all done with pre-rendered CGI scenes, so the backgrounds look really nice.
It's definitely got a good concept idea going.
And tricking 3D once again.
Yeah, there was a lot of creative ways they did that with this system, and we saw the future with this system for the people that did have it at the time. I wasn't one of them.
So the people that did have it at the time were really ahead of the curve.
The people who had it owned Fortune 500 companies, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
That's the only way you could afford this system.
Yeah, it was $700 freaking dollars.
Not something that people just ran out and bought.
No.
So, for all those reasons and more, the 3DO was a miserable financial failure. But it is an important footnote in video game history, and as we go through these console wars, we look at the big names, but we also look at the smaller names and the people like Trip Hawkins that got the industry where it's at now.
So we've got to, keep an eye out for innovations from Trip Hawkins and his digital chocolate.
Eat his digital chocolate.
His digital chocolate.
And give the 3DO a shot. If you want to see something that was ahead of its time, but never really got anywhere. take a look at the 3DO.
Yeah, there's really a breadth of titles across all genres. If, whatever you're looking for, there's something out there for it. But it just never had enough great titles.
And that was its problem.
But it did have superior home versions of Street Fighter II Turbo, Samurai Showdown, as I said, Lemmings, Bust a Move.
I love
it had
Bust a Move.
The best versions of the EA Sports games at the time. So there's a lot there to like. Just
a lot there not to like.
It was at the time. It was a bad timepiece, but in retrospect, definitely a good collector's item.
And it definitely plays in the licensing factor, what he provided to them. He didn't have the stringent licensing that other Nintendo and Sega had at the time. So you could get your good and you could get your bad.
Yeah. So,
well, as Panasonic and Trip Hawkins and 3DO Company learned, you've got to remember your history or you're doomed to repeat it.
Or create your history.
That
was doomed. And then other people take that lesson from you.
And then repeat it.
Yes. Because
PlayStation 3.
PlayStation 3. That's kind of funny.
Checkmate.
New Gen Gamers.com.